Good evening and welcome to the May 7th, 2026 Ways and Means Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Gold,
Present.
Alderman Gould,
Here.
Alderman Meyer,
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Next up is approval or amendment to the agenda. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? Does anyone have an opposition to having it approved by acclamation? Seeing none, it will be so approved. That takes us to citizen comment. I don't see anyone in the chambers who is a Brentwood citizen, but is there anyone online who would like to comment?
No one online.
Okay. Then we have report of committee chair and alderman. I have no report. Alderwoman Goad,
No report.
Alderman Gould,
No report.
Alderman Meyer.
No report.
Doesn't appear that we have a city administrator report. So that takes us to department reports, and I see Brad online. Hello.
There we go.
Great, and we can hear you. It worked. Wow.
Wow, you guys are fast today. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, I get to talk with you about your investments. So you should have a 2-page report in a similar format to each prior month and year. So I can just run through, if we start on page 2, top of page 2, we've got earnings prior to January of 2024. So there's just the years prior before we started tabulating everything. So that's your $2.7 million in total earnings and our relationship prior to 2024 and a number of bond and general fund accounts. And then if we go to the bottom of page 1, this is when we started calculating everything on an annual basis. And so you see in 2024, you've earned a total of $728,405. Last year, $708,131. And as of now, at the very top, we have $201,159 that has been earned to date in the 4 months here in 2026. That equates to about $50,000 a month in interest earnings. So that is wonderful to see. And one other nice thing about this is just about little over 2 weeks ago, we invested about $1.5 million more that the city deployed into the investment portfolio. So you will start to see that those interest earnings per month increase based on the new money that's been added to it.
Great. Michelle, can you explain where the new $1.5 million came from, or additional $1.5 million?
Wasn't necessarily new. We did some accelerated purchases during FY 2025, pending some FEMA and SEMA dollars. We needed to do alternative projects, so we did accelerated spending. Ways and Means allowed us to take those funds out in order to purchase those, and then FEMA, SEMA gave us the dollars back about 2 months ago. So the recommendation was to reinvest those dollars as we had taken them out for the FEMA, SEMA spending.
Great, and it may be a question for Eric, but are we now fully reimbursed by FEMA and SEMA? He is shaking his head no. FEMA yes, SEMA no for those watching online. Great, so are there questions for Brad from the committee? Yes.
Could Eric tell us how much more we should expect?
Oh, yes.
And FEMA was the majority of it. Is that correct?
I mean, at this point, I feel like I should have this ingrained in my brain. But, so for, sorry, I just have to pull up my spreadsheet. Give me 1 second. Bulletin warned me about this.
Well, Brad started it, so.
Keeping you on your toes.
You're welcome.
Throwing me under the bus.
All right. So we are expecting from the 2022 flood right around $350,000 more from SEMA. So that's the 10% that is left back from SEMA. If we go to the 2025 tornado, again, we have been paid by FEMA. We are still waiting for the SEMA funding. That is going to be much less. That is only $12,000. So somewhere about $360,000 is what I'm expecting still to come to us from SEMA.
And do you have any idea of their timeline?
I do not. They're wrapping up the 2022 flood, so that's good. And hopefully that means the next couple months they'll have everything finalized, and they like to send their funding all at one time. I'm sure there's reasons financially to do so that Brad would, put in, that they're making some money off of that. But the hope is that they're able to finish that up in the next couple months. They're really trying to close out 2022. So I expect to get that back before we get that last bit from the 2025 tornado.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions for, Alderman Gould?
Would the remaining 3,000 or 360,000 that we're expecting from SEMA be applied to the same strategy, or is there?
Right now, we're trending well, so things remain strong. I would say that, depending on when it comes, we'll continue to watch sort of the financials and how they look and they feel. But, if we get that sort of, I don't believe we have a spending pattern in which we thought we would have it and then we sort of assigned it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it would make good sense to potentially, if we got those dollars,
Replace it into the investment?
Consider investing them with Brad.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Goode?
Water damage from a storm, would it have those stormwater bid packages out? Is it better to invest it and get that interest off of it, or should we use it for stormwater bid packages?
So-
Isn't that a challenge?
One thing I
for funding
probably
those?
should have mentioned a little bit, of that 350,000, it gets split up between three different funds because the damages came out of three different funds. So in the 2022 flood, there's actually $3,500 that goes back into Fund 10. That's police and fire during the
What
kind
is
of
Fund 10?
the general fund.
Okay.
And then the capital fund, Fund 40, will get the bulk of it, 290,000. And again, that's to pay back the different stuff that came out of there. And then the stormwater and rec fund is $62,000. And it's split almost 50-50 between, it's 51, Fund 40, 49, Fund 50 for the 25 tornado. So it's about 6,000 each.
Certainly, the committee can make a recommendation that what goes into stormwater could be reallocated in a different way. Right now, what would it do? Would it go to fund balance, or would it go to
Correct.
fund
Right now,
balance?
going to fund balance because we had paid for, all those expenditures were paid through just regular funding in 2022, so.
So at this time, of course, Dan's not here, and we really won't know whether there's savings from how much we've budgeted and what's coming from OMCI to pay for the stormwater project. So there could be savings that could be rolled into other projects. But if we find out after going to bid that there's not enough, then this could be a discussion point for the committee.
I would suggest that might be a discussion we have after we get the bid package, how
Right.
much OMCI money there is, and sort of seeing what really thoughtfully looking at the fund balance and what it is before we just arbitrarily say that the money
Okay.
should go there. That's my thought. I don't know.
We don't have the money in hand yet. So.
And we don't have the
Not
money.
That's true. Let's hope this year.
Well, and Michelle can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some of the Fund 40 money's earmarked for the ERR, right?
Correct. Correct.
Great.
ERR for,
The Equipment Replacement Reserve, so how we paid for the fire truck
Correct.
and other things.
Other questions from anyone? Great, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Bola, and I think, thank you, Brad.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Have a
Okay,
good night.
great, see you next month.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, moving on to the March financial statements, Michelle?
Yes, good evening. In the packet were the March revenues and expenditures for all funds. And with this sort of being 3 months into the year, there's not a lot of exciting things going on. But we are trending revenue-wise. Sales tax seems to be, it's 6% more than the same time last year, but in conjunction with that, use tax is 6% below this same time last year. We continue to sort of watch these trends, and now that we're sort of entering budget season, we're still talking about potentially only giving it a 1% increase among the other years, because I don't know that it necessarily holds this strong, and we are still receiving data from the DOR that they are 60, 90 days behind on processing items, so this potentially could still be some $25. So I think we watch this as it continues into like June and July and see if this evens out a little bit as we start to sort of make projections for the upcoming budget season. Also in this, the occupational license, which is down about the middle of the page. For March, it's down around 9%. It's still in occupational business license season, so they were still collecting the business license. By April, you'll see it sort of accelerate, and it does start to meet its budget projections. Internally, I was concerned about that, so we started having some internal conversations. Otherwise, Otherwise, everything else is really pretty steady for the first 3 months of the year. Nothing alarming, unless you have any immediate questions.
I have two small ones they're both on the income statement on page 7.
Page 7.
Yes, of the PDF version. One is on the police line, so we have 115,000 spent. Again, 0 budgeted, but the line directly below it for capital equipment replacement is 129. Is that 115 is just being spent against the 129? It's how it's captured.
I haven't found where you're at because my pages are different, but page 7 on capital, is that what we're looking? The 115 is probably, yes, it looks like it probably needs to go next to the 129 that should be budgeted. It looks like it was keyed to the capital account and not the replacement account. I believe
Okay.
those are vehicles that were purchased, and the vehicles were budgeted at 129. We purchased them for 115.
Okay, so that
Yeah,
one's
so I'll do a
that one's
reclass
good.
on that. Yes, ma'am?
Thank you. And then the other one is there's a grant on the revenue higher up on that same page, 48,000 grant. That's the park grant, right?
Nope, this is the capital fund, and I believe that the police department, it's the radio grant. I believe we received some funds for the radios.
Oh, okay.
See, yes, we did budget for the full funds of the radios, but they did apply for grants between police and fire, and I believe this is part of the police portion.
Oh, wonderful. Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
So only two things that jumped out to me this time.
Other questions? So I will ask a big picture question. So by summer, even with the lag at the state, we should be seeing any potential slowdown based upon the new things that have been opened up at Olive that are similar to many of our large stores? Or do you anticipate not seeing that till later? If we have slowdowns at all?
I just anticipate watching it. I can't begin to sort of tell what the patterns will be. I mean, once again, I think part of what will make this slightly successful is that our financials are timely. Like, once again, it's the 7th of the month. We've already reconciled April. So I think that helps us sort of watch the trends and be able to make some decisions or see what the impact really is. That's probably my best answer at the moment.
Great.
But we will continue to watch them, much like the investments and then these core key items that help. But right now, our plan at the moment is still about a 1% increase just in revenue for budget purposes.
Great. Great, thank you. Moving on to the audit timeline.
Audit timeline, all the good fun things. Well, the audit is wrapping up. They have sent us our adjusting journal entries. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'll be able to distribute the draft reports. We'll have them before the next Ways and Means Committee and then also before the next Board of Aldermen meeting. They are due to the state auditor by the 30th based upon our end of year being 12/31. So We will meet all of the necessary deadlines, and hopefully you have the documents and enough time to review it, be familiar with it, and be able to ask any questions. Yes.
Wonderful news. Questions from anyone on the committee?
Yeah, and I don't foresee there being anything alarming. There won't be any material weaknesses or things like that. I feel like it will be another good audit and another good year.
Good.
Yep.
Great. Alderwoman Go?
Sorry, this is for the meeting on already May 7th. Okay, so this is the June meeting.
It'll be the June meeting, that is correct. But I will distribute them when I get them, and you'll have them before the June meeting.
I will not be at the June meeting.
As long as the others will be at the June meeting, we will have a quorum, and I'm assuming that we'll get comments from you, and if we don't have a quorum, then we'll look at shifting the date. So
Okay,
we'll do
perfect.
that. We'll
Y'all
do that.
do a great job, so.
Yeah, we'll do that offline, but.
Yeah, and if you have questions, feel free to email them. Feel free to, I mean, we can still interact and probably even bring them up during the open session if you find that appropriate. Absolutely.
Didn't want to hold things up with the deadline for the state.
No, we can't do that. We
gotta
definitely
move
do not
forward.
want to do that. So moving on to the consent agenda, we have one item, the minutes from the April 2nd, 2026 meeting.
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed. The consent agenda passes. It does not appear that we have old business, but we have a couple of new business items. The first is a request from the library to purchase some phones that have been installed in the library. Bola?
We received a request from Jenna, the executive director of the Brentwood Municipal Library. As you know, they will be moving into a new location either September or October of this year. And they would like to take the phones that were paid for by the city and issued to them downstairs. I have been talking to our IT director, who has provided the cost of those phones, very minimal amount. And he says that so long as they will have an equal platform to use it, which would not render it useless, that he sees no reason why the city would not make those phones available to them.
Alderman Gould?
I just have a question about, it looks like from his report, and I can't get to it, but his report, the retail cost for those phones is significantly higher than what we paid for them because we negotiated a bulk
That's
purchase
true.
price.
That's true.
So my concern is that if we allow them, if we get reimbursed for those phones on the prices that we paid,
Right.
we would only be able to afford, if we had to pay retail for any new phones that we bought, we would only be able to buy 2 or 3 of them for the same cost.
Possibly.
So before we would make a decision, I would want to know that, if we don't feel there's any expansion of our needs, phone needs, or if we move to Public Works, the new Public Works Department building, are there going to be need for 7 more phones over there for that future? Because we generally have these phones for quite a while when we do this. And so the idea that the reimbursement that we might get, yes, it's not much, but it would cost us significantly more if we can't negotiate the same price for those phones.
Michelle brought up the same questions this morning. However, at this time, we don't know the use for where the library is. We do know that by 2028, there will be movement from the current Public Works facility to 288. So those are valid questions,
Yeah, and
valid
if we
concerns.
decide to
And-
keep that space within the city property and.
The library?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and offer it for shared space with the school district or whatever, they're gonna need,
Sure.
likely gonna need phones.
Right. So what I don't know, and I think there is no hurry to make a decision today, I would need to ask IT because they tend to buy extra phones in case one breaks so that they can replace it. The question would be, how many of these phones do we have set aside that you've purchased? And if we have to buy additional phones, would we still be able to use the discounted price that we got for this? So those are all questions I can't answer tonight, but I will ask IT and bring that back at the next meeting.
Are there other questions that you would like Ebola to investigate before the next meeting?
Okay,
Alderman Gould?
thank you.
So moving on to the second item of new business, the amended financial policies and procedure manual. Michelle?
Yes, this is sort of a housekeeping item. We submit these to our auditors, and in going through this, we recognize that it was slightly outdated. So it actually was circulated to all of the department heads. We've updated things such as positions and what they're actually called now. We've updated processes and procedures. One of the biggest updates is probably the fleet replacement policy based upon the items that we did for 26 in that budget process. We updated them in this manual as well. And then any other sort of minor things that we've done, banking and other things like that. So really the biggest overhaul for a section would be the fleet maintenance policy, replacement policy, but otherwise there were minor changes. And we just wanted you guys to recognize that, and then once it's recognized and approved, I will forward the updated version onto the auditors.
There are questions for Michelle? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to forward the updated financial policies and procedures manual to the Board of Aldermen for approval.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We will send it on to the board. That takes us to our next opportunity for citizen comments. No one has joined us in the room. Is there anyone online? Okay, great. So there being no further business, this